What's up, guys? We got another little update that they did. I don't think this is going to be the 25th open beta update. I think this is just kind of a more of a hot fix thing to kind of update some of the things that people were complaining about and stuff like that. So we'll go through it really quickly and see. I'm mostly going to just hit on the patch notes area rather than this because this is kind of the less in detail description of stuff. I don't think they mentioned crowns down below. Basically, they rebalanced the way the crowns were earned. So basically, now for all of those people that were attacking that like level 4 guy, you won't get nearly as many crowns as if you are attacking at a higher level. So with me, if I attacked at my archer, I would still get like 10 crowns from him because he was so much higher on crowns. But now that because he's a lower level, you actually don't get that many crowns whatsoever. So everybody who was attacking that guy, that won't work. And I don't think it'll work either way because they took away targeted attack, so he's pretty much safe to get as many crowns as he wants without ever being attacked. But as soon as he levels up his castle to 5, people will be able to attack him like crazy. So I don't know, he can keep playing it as kind of an attacking only game, I guess, and get to the highest amount of crowns he can. Some aggro ring stuff, basically the bugs that we were talking about before, where the movement of the ring wasn't actually the circle, like didn't actually represent what was being aggroed and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just going to head right into the patch notes area because this is where all the detailed stuff comes in. So you've got heroes. They changed the XP boost. Basically, when you're behind your castle now over 6 levels, you will only gain 50% experience. For me, this is a good thing because I tend to like to farm and kind of attack more castles at each level. I don't know. I used to sit at certain levels and not want to level up my hero just because I wanted to get like the best items for that level and stuff like that. So I guess this is good for me. It doesn't really matter. I would just make another account if I wanted to attack more at lower levels and stuff. But either way, it's alright. Rotation of the hero is faster when using skills that have a long preparation time. I'm not sure exactly what these are. Maybe something like volley, because you're standing there and you're not able to move while you're like channeling the ability. I don't know exactly what that means, but I don't know. Your hero was rotating slowly because he was using the preparation time to rotate. I don't know exactly what this means, but I'm sure I'll figure it out when I'm actually in game. But they did a couple buffs to knights. I don't think this is really what they needed, but um, their healing strike, the range was increased to 3, and then the preparation time was slightly reduced. And then the weapons was nothing. It's just a visual change, I believe. Hero gear, they changed some of the in-game prices that that were wrong on some of the shoulders. Not a big deal. Bling gear, whatever. Most of the stuff doesn't really actually matter. Castle heart upgrades are now only allowed when the max hero level is higher or the same. So basically, you can't level up your castle over your hero, which I don't see why anyone would want to anyway. Because how are you going to validate it? Like if you don't have the gear and skills and stuff like that, it doesn't really make any sense. Also, you have to farm up the necessary life force and gold to be able to level up your castle. So I feel like you are almost always ahead of the game on your hero rather than your castle. I guess the only situation where it wouldn't be that is if you had secondary heroes and you were leveling all of them up at the same time. Maybe you'd get enough to be able to level it up. I don't know. More defense points are given at the early levels. I think this is pretty important. Like I said, before like level 12, you really can't get any wins. And now that they've kind of messed around with the ticket system down in here, you might not even be able to get wins down there using the boss room tactics because there's just not enough options to be able to win at those lower levels. So I'm pretty happy about that change. Won't affect me, but if I made another account, it would. So, and I might also do that for defense guides and stuff like that once open beta hits. They fixed some estimates basically when you went to the attack screen for the win ratio and the castle difficulty. I believe they fixed those estimates and stuff like that because I think it used to be it was opposite where castles that were being beaten a lot would turn green and say that they were easy, and castles that were easy would turn red and say that they were difficult. They changed the mine shield durations from 4 minutes to 1 hour, and the mine's level difference drop ratio adjusted. Alright, so some aggro fixes. Basically, they just fixed the aggro circle so it represents actually what's being aggroed. And then I believe they added a lightning bolt symbol over the creature's head when they're in the aggro circle. I haven't actually checked that because I haven't messed with my castle all that much yet. Okay, so they made a lot of changes to the ticket system. Most of them I dislike. Bosses will always have a ticket. I think that's fine, whatever, it's okay. Actually, this isn't always the case, though. I have noticed that with Dur, if he's aggroed a big group, if you like focus Dur down and you kill him once, his ticket will be given away to other units, and then once he gets resurrected, he won't have a ticket, he'll just stand there. So there's this soft and hard cap values that were introduced. Basically, the soft cap is when you first aggro a unit, that many units will be able to attack you as soon as you aggro them. The hard cap is if you damage them, there's only a certain amount that can attack you at once. So, like, for instance, everything in the boss room, the reason why it worked is because if you attacked them, aka with a volley like you would do anyway on an archer, they would all be able to start attacking you because they'd take damage from you. Also, traps were activating creatures back then as well, so that could help give people tickets, give creatures tickets. I really don't like this hard cap thing. I don't think it'll work well. The reason being is I feel like as an attacker, at some point I'll be able to abuse that, right? If we look at the actual value for even in the boss room, the hard cap is 43. Now at level 30, I do have to say that 40% increase, that's going to change it to close to 80. That's pretty difficult to get through 80 mobs. That's 4 groups from the old system. But if you look at maybe the hard cap on normal rooms is only 30. An increase of 40% on that, even if it's a 50% increase, it's I don't know. Actually, for a 40% increase, it would only be up to like 50 points. Not even, right? It would be 45, right? It'd be like 45 if it was a 50% increase. 45 points is not enough to kill anyone at level 30. Even at the old system, you could pull multiple groups and get through it. Yes, you'll have more traps, but you won't have trap density like you would in the old system. Like, you'd have a lot more density in one area, but then you could find an area to fight them in at like a later date. And if they only, 45 points of creatures can attack you at once, I don't think that's enough to really kill anyone at level 30. So I think that these values are definitely low for the first problem with it, and I just don't like the hard cap in general. I don't think it's a good way to handle things. I don't know what they could do exactly to make it so that you can't put all of your units in one area, but I don't know. The whole ticket system since it came out, I thought it was kind of a little bit weird. So they smoothed out the increase in the ticket amounts through the castle progression basically here. You can see that 10% increase for 14, 20% at 19, 30% at 24, and 40% finally at level 30. The hit point gauge will now appear when a creature receives attack ticket. So once a creature gets an attack ticket, you'll be able to see its hit point. That's whatever. It's not a big change. I guess it shows a little bit better which creatures are actually being aggroed. Creatures taking damage from traps do not get a ticket anymore. That's a pretty decent change if they're going to use this system. I feel like that traps shouldn't give people tickets. That's just silly. Better ticket assignment based on hero proximity. This is something that's very weird. When you go in and you start fighting around with like a big group of creatures, like say my Pete Poundmore pull, those 3 Pete Poundmores, you'll have one that charges at you, and then he'll get so far away because he charges and misses that another one will aggro and start charging at you. And it's really weird because it like changes who has the ticket based on where the creatures are, which I'm not sure if I like that or not. It's kind of a weird way to do things because like it almost makes it worse for the attacker because say you have singled out a Zeke and you know that this specific Zeke on like the opposite end is attacking you. If you want to roll around and try to get to a point to actually shoot that one specific Zeke, by the time you get there, there might be another creature attacking you. Like if you want to make use of this ticket system and try to make it so that you don't get up to the hard cap and you want to actually like focus down the ones that are actually attacking you, it makes it a lot more difficult because they're constantly changing based on where you are and where the creatures are. the creature distance that here when they don't have a ticket has been increased. It's been increased a little bit to make it so that melee creatures they're not really viable to use all at once. Like, per se, the Pete Poundmore pull, I don't know how well that's actually going to work anymore because they stand pretty far back. But in terms of Zeke's on headshots, they actually still stand right inside of the group with everything else, so it hasn't really changed it that much for that specific reason. But I do think that the hard cap is a pretty big nerf to the endgame boss room that we've been seeing with everything in it. Alright, speed boost given to creatures when they go through traps is not relative to their speed anymore. It's not really a big change, just as they're going through traps they speed up a little bit to try to get through it a little quicker. That's just little AI tweaks. I don't think it's really going to make that big of a difference on the game. They fixed a bug where it was possible to rotate a trap outside of the powering zone and then it still was powered. That's fine. Pretty much all this stuff, it wasn't really a big deal unless you knew it was there in the beginning. This is just a bunch of bug fixes and small trap changes. Corrosive Mines power consumption from 3 to 1, I think that's necessary because Corrosive Mines are like the worst mines in the game in my opinion. Springboard, actually, this is a big change. There was something that they did with traps that I don't think they mentioned down here. Basically, the first tier of the trap on hamster wheel springboards and mines, they nerfed it heavily to make it so that new players can react, can figure out exactly what they're doing and be able to react to it better as they're leveling up and learning about the game. This springboard one, the level 2 for this is crazy high. Like, even at level 16 my castle is right now or something like that, I'm still not able to get up to rank 2 of the springboard. So it's still on the like newbie friendly springboard trap. I think these things need to rank up quickly if that's the case. By level 16 you should know at least a little bit of what's going on in the game. I mean, you're halfway to max. It's a little bit high, I would say, but I don't think it affects things too terribly much. So basically they tweaked a lot of these settings. I mean, there's not all that much here. Yeah, they just tweaked all of the traps, really. You can go through and read it if you want to, but there's not any huge change that makes me say, oh, I'm going to use only this trap from now on. Maybe the reduced danger zone radius for the rotating cannon would be good, because rotating cannons were actually terrible if you used them with creatures. The only damage dealing ability trap that you could use with creatures would be ballistic cannon, because it didn't just shoot them over and over again. We'll have to see. They made a lot of creature AI fixes, as they said somewhere in here. I think it was up in here somewhere. Creature AI. The support creatures will now follow other aggroed creatures. They will follow other creatures when aggroed, which wasn't the case before due to a bug. And they have also fixed a lot of bugs in the creature AI system, which I hope helps things a little bit, because I think the AI was really weird last patch. But we'll see how this one works. But pretty much that's the patch notes. So overall, I don't know if it was a good or a bad change. I think there was a lot of bad changes and a lot of good changes. I think this hard cap system really needs a lot of tweaking. Hopefully they can get something in there by the 25th when they do another patch, I believe. So hopefully they'll do a little bit more tweaking on that. Other than that, I don't think there was really anything major. I kind of still don't like the crown system, because I can't get any crowns for people around my level unless they're upwards of 800. Whereas, like, at least before, I was able to go down and actually find people, or even use the find specific person. Like, I could go through the leaderboards and find someone who had that many crowns and attack them. And now I have to sit here and search through attack screens over and over again to try to find people who I can actually get more than like 2 crowns off of. But I mean, that's just my thing. I mean, it's just about being like too high with crowns. You can't really find anyone to attack that's worthwhile. But either way, that's going to be the end of this video. So hopefully we'll get some more changes in the 25th. It's only in a couple of days, and I will go over those as well. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.